Alright, I figured it was time to make a review video on my 20-meter Snake 3. So let's take a look. Here we have cell openings, which I think for being a slalom racewing are actually pretty large. 3 fingers, maybe even 4-ish for the cell openings. So that's going to help it inflate a little easier. I'll show you the label here. So Snake 3 20 meter, and this has a weight range of 100 to 120 normal weight range, competition weight range up to 160. So you can load it up to 160, but Dudek is basically recommending that you fly it between 100 to 120 kilograms all up weight for I guess your average weekend warrior pilot. Some other things to note: there's no plastic rods anywhere down here towards the trailing edge. The rods go from right about here all the way until about here. So you only have plastic rods in the leading edge of the glider. We do have unsheathed lines all the way until you get to the main lines, but these are unsheathed, but if you can see, these are pretty thick unsheathed lines. Which I like. Interesting, out here at the wingtip, the unsheathed lines are a little thinner. So I think Dudek put in some effort to check the load distribution of the wing. You know, the wingtip's not carrying as much weight as the center of the wing is, so they adjusted the line size appropriately for that. It's still unsheathed all the way out here. And then let's take a look at these main lines. So here we have all sheath lines except for this one line on the D. This one line is unsheathed on the Ds, which is interesting, but the Stabilo is still sheathed. Just something to note. Alright, here's the risers on the Snake 3. This is where all the magic happens, right here. This is what makes the difference between the competition level gliders and everything else, really. So what do we have? We have A's, B's, C's, and D's. So it is a 4-liner, a true 4-liner. We have a pulley on the bridge from the B's. The B's are basically on a pulley system. But this C and the split A is not on a pulley, so these just have to slide along the risers there. Brake toggles. Sorry, I had to pull that off the magnet. So here's the brake toggles. These come stock with the Snake 3, and I actually really enjoy them. So when I take off, I typically have 2 fingers here, and I use it like a normal brake toggle. But once I'm in the air and I'm yanking and banking, I'm using speed bar and stuff, I actually hold it like this. I just put 2 fingers there, and then I work the throttle with the ring finger and the pinky. And that's how I like to fly the Snake 3. Factory brake link was pretty good. I think I did adjust it just a hair, but that's pretty standard for any glider. All right, trim range goes out to 15 centimeters. And of course, this does have power attack, which I am using. So this is looped through the riser from the factory so that power attack is not engaged. If you unloop this from the riser, then power attack is engaged. So once you pull speed bar, it also releases the D's and the trimmers so that you get full speed range just in the speed bar. What else? So these rings, this came on, I'm trying to remember which Dudek glider had this first, but a lot of their gliders have this now. So this is a ring on the speed bar line. So what happens is you pull the bar until this ring catches this pulley. And then from there, your bar travel has more of an effect, but the bar gets harder to push, if that makes sense. So it doubles the force required to push the bar. But it also makes it to where you don't have to push the bar as far to get the full travel range. I don't know, I think it's personal preference. There's a lot of gliders that have that. I actually think I don't prefer it because I use a lot of speed bar, and I like just a smooth travel on the speed bars, and this makes it a little bit harder to push, but I think it's a safety factor. It kind of allows you to feel the leading edge of the glider a little better through your legs, because you have to push harder so you can feel more through it. just something to note. Yeah, so that's about all I can say for the Snake 3. I do love the graphics on the Snake 3. I think it looks really cool. It's almost like Dudek scheme, but with the patchwork that they've done of the colors with the gray and the red. Almost looks like a BGD, but without all the colors. That's what I mean, these stripes here, this black and gray striping. I think that looks really good in the air. Trims in. 1-6 into the wind. Let's go downwind. 3-5. Alright, so we got let's see, 16 and 35. Trims in. Trims out. 25 into the wind. 41 downwind. 36. 40. 49. 35, 49, so 40 miles an hour pretty much. So I can fly as slow as like, I think it was like 20 something, as fast as 40. Pretty good. Oh, this thing pulls so many G's. So many G's. Ooh! Come down here and say hi. Yeah, what's up, guys? Nice people. Nice people. Man, that's what the Snake 3 feels like it was made for. The Snake 3 has a different feeling than like any other Dudek glider I've flown, where when you pop the brakes in for a turn, it just like sucks you in harder. It's super nice. If you like to do this, that's what the Snake 3 is made for. Wait. Woo, there it is. So hitting my own wake there takes me to turbulence. So I have flown this wing in some gnarly stuff. I fly more than I film now, and so I wasn't recording when this happened, but I took off a little early one day and it was windy and it was still thermic, and I got maybe 100 feet up and I hit this thermal and I went weightless in the seat. But what I love about the Snake 3 is that it doesn't surge forward. Even with the trims on 6, where I always fly this glider with the trims on 6, but so I hit the thumb, I like went weightless, I heard the wing material like flop. So it was probably some kind of a collapse, and I felt the ring rock backwards behind me. I just kept my hands up and waited, and then it shot forward, and then I just checked the surge. But the initial response of this glider in turbulence is not to surge forward, but it's actually to surge backwards, which some people don't like that. It's just really personal preference, how you like your gliders to fly. So what is this? This glider really, to me, feels like drift air on steroids. But even more so because of the roll rate and the top speed. So the top speed on this glider is at least like 5 miles an hour faster than a drift air. And the roll rate, remember, I'm flying a 20 meter, which is pretty low on the weight range for this glider, and it still rolls insane. The roll is crazy. Let's come down here and fly low. Do a little swoop. Oh yeah, it's a good night. So I got this Snake 3 because I switched to an Atom 80 just for like the lightweight, smooth operation, the quietness. Just wanted something easy and quiet. So I bought this 20 meter Snake 3, and it's perfect, man. It's like at full speed, I'm full throttle on the Atom 80, so it's about as small as I can go flying the Atom 80 and still use the full range of the glider. That's exactly what I wanted, but it's still small enough that it can do barrel rolls. I can still go 40 miles an hour. Snake 3 is extremely efficient. It's trimmed slow with the trims all the way in, so that makes it also really efficient. When you pull the trims all the way in on this glider, man, it just floats. It takes very little throttle to maintain altitude. I'll pull them in. I can't see my tack because it's tucked away in the harness, but I don't know if you can hear the engine RPMs, but this thing is just whispering along, super quiet and gentle, with the trims all the way in because this glider is so efficient. But for me, its takeoff and landing is a little tough with the trims in, so I just trim out the second flag stitching line, which is right about 5 or 6 centimeters, and I really just leave them there, and then I use power attack. Let's get on the bar, it's on full throttle. On the bar. the Snake 3 is awesome. It's right up there with the Warp 2 in terms of like who should be flying this glider. If you've owned a Drift Air or maybe a small heavily loaded Nucleon 4, then you probably could go to a Snake 3 if you're talented. But really, like if you're on a Hadron 3 or a Dudek Drift Air, then you should switch over to the Snake 3 once you're ready. So what do you get from a Drift Air or a Hadron to a Snake 3? First of all, the Hadron doesn't have power attack, but this glider does. The Drift Air does have power attack, but the Snake 3 gives you a little bit more speed range. So you can go about 5 miles an hour faster on the Snake 3 compared to the Drift Air. You keep that roll rate. You get these brake toggles, which I love. This is how I like to use them. So when I'm on bar, you know, you should never pull any main brake when you're on bar. So what I do is this. So I'm on bar, and I keep the base of the toggle near the pulley, and I just pull this tip line like this. I'm gonna twist my wrist. You can see it's very agile like this. So I love these toggles for that reason, because it gives you a little bit more safety, being able to keep this brake line right up against the pulley and still pull that tip steer without pulling any main brake. I used to customize all my gliders to have toggles like this, but the Snake 3 comes out of the box with these toggles already. And I love it. That's probably my favorite thing about this glider. Speed bar travel is, let's see, it's pretty long. So to get full travel, you have to kind of keep it short. What I'll do is I use double steps. I'll put my feet in this part of the speed bar first, step on it, and then go to the second part, and then hit full bar to use the full range of the speed bar on this glider, because it is such a really long travel. So let's compare the Snake 3 to the Warp 2. I don't have a very direct comparison because I was flying a 16-meter Warp 2 and this is a 20-meter Snake 3. But I can tell you immediately that the Warp 2 roll rate is not near as fast as a Snake 3. The Snake 3 roll rate is extremely fast. The Warp 2 dampens oscillations a little bit more. This one isn't bad though, honestly. Let's see. So I'll get a turn going, or do nothing. But oscillations also has to deal with wing loading and motor setup and everything, but this does dampen itself out pretty well, so it's actually not too bad. Tug on those brakes, man, it just sucks you right in. I love it. Just let it build speed, pump it up, tug the brakes. It sucks you in. Speed, roll, tug the brakes. Speed, roll, tug the brakes. Speed, roll, tug the brakes.
Colton, stay right there.
Alright, we're going to record the all-up weight that I was just flying with.
But with the bag?
For the wing and everything, 228 pounds.
228 pounds?
228 pounds, that's right.
That's a lot.
So yeah, let's see. Converter, but 228 pounds, 103 kilograms all up. So I'm at the very bottom of the weight range on the Snake 3 20 meter, and thing still rips. So if you want a wing that can rip barrel rolls, fly super fast, but you don't really have to fly the tiny size. I went from 16 meters to a 20 meter, and I'm super happy with it flying at Atom 80. Super floaty, easy to take off and landing, still rips. So 2 thumbs up for me on Snake 3. Peace.